So, I'm yawning, it's kind of late. But what I have here is some Cloudwheels on a Wago X4. And you know, whenever I first started skating, or when I first got into e-skate, these original Cloudwheels was the only Cloudwheels. They didn't even have the hub versions of these wheels available. A big thing for a lot of y'all might be wondering, of all the Cloudwheel options there are, which Cloudwheels are for you, or which ones are the best? And to be honest, I really can't stand here and say any of them are the best, because which wheels you should be using is fully dependent on how you ride, where you ride, how the weather is where you ride, and there's a lot of factors. Just say different wheels fit different people. I have tried every single variant of Cloudwheels, and so I can safely give you an honest opinion from experience with all the wheels. So the OG Cloudwheels. This is what the whole Cloudwheel brand is basically based upon. And the biggest criticism these wheels have always had is their contact patch. They're very pyramid-like, so really only the center of them touches the ground, which means they're not fully predictable. They're very prone to slipping out. The pro to this though is because of the way it's designed, it absorbs a lot more shock. You're way less likely to feel cracks and stuff. It's just kind of slippery because it has a very small contact patch. Basically, all the Cloudwheels are advertised to have their shock absorbent core. So that's something that really shouldn't change between any of them. I'm pretty sure most of them do. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when it comes to the shock absorbent core, I haven't really felt a difference with that in any of them. If you want the pros of the original Cloudwheels, but you don't want to deal with the pyramid-like contact patch, they just released the Cloudwheel FEs. So these are basically the same exact wheels, but they have a flat contact patch, which was the biggest criticism the OGs had for the longest time. Anytime anyone compares any wheels to the OG Cloudwheels, they always point out the pyramid-like contact patch as a con. So the FEs are the same wheels, but with a flat contact patch. Now we move on to the Hydros. So the Hydros was actually a collab between I Wonder or Cloudwheel and X-Way. And depending on if you buy the wheels from X-Way or Cloudwheel, there's a different tread pattern, but they basically work the same. Essentially, these wheels were designed to allow you to ride over water easier. The way the tread is it's made to filter out water from under the wheels as you ride through it. I wouldn't say it makes it impossible for you to slip, but it makes you slip resistant. Only con with the Hydros is they're only available in 100 millimeters, I believe. And they're very similar to the Cloudwheel Rovers. So the Rovers also have tread very similar to the Hydros. The Rovers are available in 165 millimeters and 110 millimeters. Both variants have hub variants. You can't put the 165 millimeter ones on a street board. I mean, you probably could if you forced it on and found the right hub, or not hub, the right pulley, but it's not recommended. A wheel that big and that heavy on a street board is going to rapidly deteriorate your torque and everything. Those wheels are more for like the all-terrain boards like the Atlas and the Hurricane and just your like 2-in-1 boards. But for your street boards, that's where you use the 110 millimeters. So these wheels are advertised as being off-road wheels. So you know they're shock absorbent, they have the tread, and they have properties that are supposed to make them the off-road wheel of Cloudwheel. They have different styles available, different sizes depending on what type of board you're riding. And I actually have a video fully dedicated to the Hydros versus the Rovers. If you want to see that, I'll have a link in the description. When it comes to that, it's basically all weather versus all climate. But when it comes to the tread and all that, they're basically the same. I just say you have better size options with the Rovers, obviously. Unless you like the smaller wheels are better for sliding, but with the tread, it's definitely not made for sliding. I've proven that. And now we move on to Cloudwheel's Galaxys. So their Galaxys are basically their version of the boosted wheels or the original Mad Wheels before they made the Mad Wheels V2. So they have the same suspension holes and the same formula and everything as the OG boosted wheels and as the OG Mad Wheels. It's just they spiced it up a little bit and added some tread. Now personally, the way I've ridden and where I've ridden, the tread hasn't made much of a difference for me. It feels kind of gimmicky, but I guess it technically should help you when it comes to riding through water and stuff. This wheel was actually pretty controversial. People really did say that like it's just a boosted clone, it's just a Mad Wheel clone. And I mean, yes, it's a clone, but it's a clone of a discontinued wheel. You could argue Mad Eastgate is making it, but I mean, I don't know. It's controversial. It's controversial. The Galaxys are available in 105s. So I will have a diagram on screen that shows all the differences between the wheels. Keep in mind, by the time you see this video, there could be new wheels out because Cloudwheel does release new wheels a lot. Like if you're watching this video like a year or two into the future, there's probably some new wheels I didn't get to cover. But if you just subscribe, chances are I've covered the wheels, I've compared them to comparable wheels, and you can still get the information you need for those wheels from this channel. But that's just for the wheels that are currently released. Cloudwheel's become so popular that a lot of their wheels just come stock on a lot of boards now. So chances are, if you've gotten a slightly more expensive variant of whatever board you have, you probably got Cloudwheel stock. But yeah, let me know if I missed anything or if there's anything that should for sure be noted. Cloudwheel has really expanded since I first entered the scene. I remember they did not have hub variants of their wheels and I had a hub board, so I couldn't experience Cloudwheels for the longest time. And now they have basically every wheel you need. They basically have hub variants of every wheel, and I'm sure they're just gonna keep releasing more stuff.